Hello, Mark. My name is Joy. My student number is S04411015, and I'm a freshman. I'm going to deliver the speech titled Why We Laugh by Sophie. Hi, I'm going to talk to you today about laughter. And I just want to start by thinking about the first time I can ever remember noticing laughter. It is when I was a little girl. I would have been about 6, and I came across my parents doing something unusual. Well, they were laughing. They were laughing very, very hard. They were lying on the floor laughing. They were screaming with laughter. I did not know what they were laughing at, but I wanted in. I wanted to be part of that. And I kind of sat around the edge going, hoo hoo. Now, incidentally, while they were laughing at was a song which people used to sing, which was based around the sign in toilet on train telling you what you could and could not do in toilet on train. And the thing you have to remember about the English is, of course, we do have an immensely sophisticated sense of humor. And the time though, I didn't understand anything of that. I just care about the laughter, and actually, as a neuroscientist, I intend to care about it again, and it is a really real thing to do. What I am going to do now is just place an example of real human being laughing, and I want to think about the sound people make, and how odd they can be, and in fact how primitive laughter is as a sound. It's much more like an animal call than it is like speech. So here we got some laughter for you. The first one is pretty joyful. Now is that next guy. I need him to breathe. There is a point in there where I just like, you have got to get some air in there, Matt, because he just sounds like he's breathing off. And finally we have, this is a human female laughing, and laughter can take us to some pretty odd places in terms of making noises. She's actually say, "Oh my God, what's that?" in French. We are all kind of with her. I had no idea. Now to understand laughter, you have to look at part of the body that psychologists and neuroscientists don't normally spend much time looking at, which is the rib cage, and it doesn't seem terribly exciting, but actually you are all using your rib cage all the time. What you are doing at the moment with your rib cage, and don't stop doing it, is breathing. So you use the intercostal muscle, the muscle between your ribs to bring air in and out of your lungs just by expanding and contracting your rib cage. And if I was to put the strap around the outside of your chest, called a breath belt, and just do any movement, you see a rather gentle sinusoidal movement, and that's breathing. You are all doing it. Don't stop. As soon as you start talking, you are using your breathing completely differently. So what I'm doing now is you see something much more like this. In talking, you use very fine movement of rib cage to squeeze the air out, and in fact, we are the only animal that can do this. It's why we can talk and all. Now both talking and breathing has a mortal enemy, and the enemy is laughter. Because what happens when you laugh is losing muscle start to extract contrast very regularly, and you get this very marked sort of zigzagging, and that's just squeezing the air out of you. It's literally It's their basic way of making a sound. You could be stamping on somebody. It's having the same sound, the same effect. You are just squeezing air out, and each of those contractions, gives you a sound, and as the contractions run together, you can get this expansion, and that's when you start getting this. Things happening. I'm brilliant at this. Now in terms of the science of laughter, there isn't very much, but it does turn out that pretty much everything we think we know about laughter is wrong, so it's not at all unusual. For example, to hear people to say humans are the only animal that laugh. Neither should. Though that humans are the only animal that laugh. In fact, you find laughter throughout the mammal. It's been well described and well observed in primates, but you also see it in rats, and wherever you find it, human, primate, rats, you find it associated with things like tickling. Last, the same for human. You find associated with play, and all mammal play, and wherever you find it, it's associated with interaction. So Robert Provin, who has done a lot of work on this, has pointed out that you are 30 times more likely to laugh if you are with somebody else than if you are on your own. And where you find more laughter is in social interaction like conversation. So if you ask human beings, when do you laugh? They talk about comedy, and they talk about humor, and they talk about jokes. If you look at when they laugh, they are laughing with their friends. And when we laugh with people, we are hardly ever actually laughing at jokes. You are laughing to show people that you understand them, that you agree with them, that you are a part of the same group as them. You are laughing to show that you like them. You might even love them. You are doing all that at the same time as talking to them, and laughter is doing a lot of the emotional work for you, something that Robert Provins has pointed out, as you can see here. And the reason why we were laughing when we heard the Lord's funny laugh at the start, and why I was laughing when I found my parents laughing, is that it's an enormously behaviorally contagious effect. You can catch laughter from somebody else, and you are more likely to catch laughter of somebody else if you know them. So it's still much led by the social context. You have to put humor to one side and think about the social meaning of laughter, because that's where we origins life. Now something I have got very interested in is different kinds of laughter, and we have some neurobiological evidence about how human beings vocalize. The vocalize that suggests there might be two kinds of laugh that we have. So it seems possible that the neurobiology for helpless, involuntary laughter, like my parents lying on the floor screaming about a silly song, might have a different basis to than some of them more polite social laughter than you encounter, which isn't horrible laughter, but it's behavior somebody is doing as part of their communicating act to you, part of their interaction with you. They are choosing to do this. In our evolution, we have developed two different ways of vocalizing. Involuntary vocalization are part of an elder system than the more voluntary vocalization, like the speech I'm doing now. So we might imagine the laughter might actually have two different roots. So I have been looking at this in more detail. To do this, we had to make recording of people laughing, and we had to do whatever it takes to make people laugh. When Carlos sent people to produce more posts, social laughter. So imagine your friend talk a joke. You are laughing because you like your friend, but not really because the joke just all that. So I'm going to play you a couple of laws. I want to tell me if you think this laughter is a real laughter, or if you think it's false. So is this involuntary laughter or more voluntary laughter? What does this sound like to you? Pause. Pause. How about this one? And the best. Now, really. No, that's what helpless laughter. And in fact, to recall that, all I had to do was recall me watching one of my friends listening to something I knew she wanted to laugh at, and I just started to doing this. What you find is that people are good at telling the difference between real and forced laughter. They seem to be different things to us. Interestingly, you see something quite similar with chimpanzees. Chimpanzees laugh differently if they are being tickled than if they are playing with each other. And we might be saying something like that here. Involuntary laughter, tickling laughter, being different from social laughter. They are acoustically very different. The real laughs are longer. They are higher in pitch. When you start laughing hard, you start squeezing air out from your lungs under much higher pressure than you could ever produce voluntarily. For example, I could never pitch my voice that high to sing. Also, you start to get this sort of contraction and well-whistled sound. All of which mean that real laughter is extremely easy or feel extremely easy to spot. In contrast, forced laughter, we might think it sounds a bit fat. Actually, it's not. It's actually an important social cue. When you see it a lot, we are choosing to laugh in a lot of situations, and it seems to be its own thing. So, for example, you find isolated impulse laughter, the kind of ha 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 sound that you never get. You could not do if you were laughing involuntarily. So let's still seem to be genuinely these two different sorts of things. We tune it into the scanner to see how brains respond when you hear laughter. And when you do this is a really boring experiment. We just play people real and post laugh. We didn't tell them it was a study on laughter. We put other sound in there to distract them. And all they are doing is lying listening to sound. We don't tell them to do anything. Nonetheless, when you hear real laughter and when you hear forced laughter, the brains are responding completely differently, significantly differently. What you see in the region in blue, which lies in auditory cortex, are the brain area that respond more to the real laugh. And what seems to be the case, when you hear somebody laughing involuntarily, you hear sound you will never hear in any other context. It's very unambiguous, and it seems to be associated with your greater auditory processing of those novel sounds. In contrast, when you hear somebody laughing in a forced way, what you see are these regions in pink, which are occupying brain area associating with mentalizing, thinking about what somebody else is thinking. And I think what that means is, even if you are having your brain scan, which is completely boring and not very interesting, when you hear somebody going, ah ha 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 ha, you are trying to work out why they are laughing. Laughter is always meaningful. You are always trying to understand it in context, even if, as far as you are concerned, at the point in time, it has not necessarily anything to do with you. You still want to know why those people are laughing. Now we have the opportunity to look at how people hear real and forced laughter across the age ranges. So this is an online experiment we can with the Royal Society, and here we just ask people two questions. First of all, they hear some laugh, and they had to say how real or false do their laughs sound. The real laughs are shown in red and the false laughs are shown in blue. What you see is there is a rapid onset. As you get older, you get better and spotting real laughter. So sister are in chance. They can't really hear the difference. By the time you are older, you get better. But interestingly, you do not hit peak performer in this data set until you are in your late 30s and the early 40s. You don't understand laughter fully by the time you hit puberty. You don't understand laughter fully by the time your brain has matured at the end of your teens. You are learning about laughter throughout your entire early adult life. If we turn the question around and now say now, what does this laughter sound like in terms of being real or false? But when say, how much does this laughter make you want to laugh? How contagious is this laughter to you? We see a different profile, and here, the younger you are, the more you want to join in when you hear laughter. Remember me laughing with my parents when I had no idea what was going on. You really can see this. Not everybody, young and old, find a real laugh more contagious than the false laugh. But as we get older, it's all become less contagious to you. Now either we are just becoming really grumpy as we get older, or it may mean that as you understand laughter better, and you are getting better at doing that, you need more than just hearing people laugh to want to laugh. You need the social stuff there. So we have got a very interesting behavior about which a lot of our late assumptions are incorrect. But I'm coming to see that actually there's even more to laughter than is an important social emotion. We should do that, because it turns out people are phenomenally nuanced in terms of how we use laughter. There's a really lovely set of study coming out from Robert Levenson's lab in California, where he is doing a longitudinal study with couples. He gets married couples, men and women, into the lab, and he gives them stressful conversation to him while he will then add to a polygraph so he can see them becoming stressed. So you have got the two of them in there, and he will say to the husband, "Tell me something that your wife does that irritates you." And what you see is immediately, just run that one through your head briefly. You and your partner, you can imagine everybody gets a bit more stressed as soon as that starts. You could see physically people become more stressed. What he finds is that the couple who manage that feeling of stress with laughter, positive emotion like laughter, not only immediately become less stressed, they can see them physically feeling better. They are dealing with the unpleasant situation better together. They are also the couple that report high level of satisfaction in their relationship, and they stay together for longer. So in fact, when you look at close relationships, laughter is a phenomenally useful index of how people are regulating their emotion together. We are not just imitating it and each other to show that we like each other. We are making ourselves feel better together. Now, I don't think this is going to be limited to romantic relationships. I think it is probably going to be a characteristic of close emotional relationships such as you might have with your friend, which explains my next clip, which is a YouTube video of some young men in the former East Germany are making a video to promote their heavy metal band, and it's extremely mature, and the mood is very serious. And I want you to notice what happens in terms of laughter when things go wrong and how quickly that happens, and how that changes the mood. He's cold, he's about to get wet, he's going to trunk on, got a towel, ice. What might possibly happen? Video star, serious mood. And his friends are already laughing. They are already laughing hard. He's not laughing yet. His thoughts starting to go now. And now they are all off. They are on the floor. The thing I really like about that is it's all very serious until he jumps onto the ice. And as soon as he doesn't go through the ice, but also there isn't blood and bone everywhere, his friends start laughing, and imagine if they had played him out with him standing there going, "Now seriously, Heinrich, I think this is broken. We wouldn't enjoy watch that. That would be stressful." Or if he was running around with a visibly broken leg laughing, and his friends are going, "Heinrich, I think we need to go to the hospital now." It also wouldn't be funny, the fact that the laughter roared. It gets him from a painful, embarrassing, difficult situation into a funny situation, into what we are actually enjoying there. And I think that's a really interesting use, and it's actually happening all the time. For example, I can remember something like this happening at my father's funeral. We were jumping around the aisle on the aisles in our underpants. We are not Canadian. These events are always difficult. I had a relative who was being it a bit difficult. My mom was not in a good place. And I can remember finding myself just before the whole thing started telling a story about something that happened in the 1960s sitcom. And I just thought at the time, I don't know why I'm doing this. And what I realized I was doing was I was coming up with something from somewhere I could use to make her laugh together with me. It was a very basic reaction to find some reason we can do this. We can laugh together. We are going to get through this. We are going to be okay. And in fact, all of us are doing this all the time. You do it so often, you don't even notice it. Everybody underestimates how often they laugh, and you are doing something when you laugh with people that's actually letting you access a really ancient, evolutionary system that mammals had evolved to maintain social bonds, and clearly to regulate emotions, to make ourselves feel better. It's not something specific to humans. It's a really ancient behavior which really helps us regulate how we feel and makes us feel better. In other words, when it comes to laughter, you and me, baby, are nothing but mammals. Thank you. Thank you.